So in this video, we're going to go over two really important topics in art and in drawing. So the horizon line and the vanishing point. So these are really important, especially when you're drawing things like roads or buildings. They really help you make things look really 3D and keep everything at the same angle. So with this is a little bit of what I'm going to do today. But I just wanted to show you this so you sort of have the idea before we start. So we're going to draw a line somewhere in the middle of our paper. So that is our horizon line. So the horizon line, so imagine that this down here is like the beach and all this is water, and this horizon line is the line where the water meets the sky. So where you can't see land anymore. So this top part from here all the way to the horizon line is the sky. From the horizon line down is the ground or earth. So, and then our vanishing point, we're going to put it right here in the center, but that is the point to where everything goes to and then disappears. So with these boxes, they're all going towards the vanishing point. So the angles are all going towards there. That is where they're all angled towards. So we'll go ahead and start it, and I'll show you exactly what all that means. All right, so for this, you'll need a ruler, a pencil, and a piece of paper. So first off, I'm going to draw my horizon line right about here. So that's our horizon. That was the water, and this is the sky. So this is the sky, this part. This is the ground or earth. Well, I guess it's all earth, so we'll just put ground. That makes more sense. So this is ground. So we're going to put the vanishing point right about here. So right about the center of the paper. Vanishing points can be anywhere though on this horizon line. So it could be way over here, it could be in the middle, it could be way anywhere on this horizon line. But I'm just going to pick the center because it's easier to see and to draw the boxes too. So what we're going to do on this is we're just going to draw squares or rectangles, whichever. And we're going to make them 3D by drawing them to the vanishing point. So we're going to make this one a rectangle, make it sort of long, like that. And erase that little bit of extra there. So now what we're going to do, that we have our little rectangle here, is we're going to draw all the corners going to the vanishing point. So by doing that, what we'll have to do is take our ruler and put our pencil on whichever corner we're going to draw to the vanishing point, put it there, put one end on of the ruler on the vanishing point, whoops, and then the other end on the corner where we're drawing, and then draw very lightly to the, well, that didn't go exactly there, but to the vanishing point, because these are just our guidelines so that we have the angles correct. So now we're going to do it with this line here. There we go. And you don't have to draw it all the way to the vanishing point if you don't want to. Just draw it as far as you want, or how long you want the box to be, but I'm just drawing it all the way there so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, that one was a little curved there. We'll fix that. There we go, that's a little better. Erase that. So, and then, so we have our lines going to the vanishing point here. So if this box was really that long, it would go beyond where we could see it. It'd be going all the way for miles and miles before we couldn't even see the end of it. But so we're going to cut it off and make it however long we want it. So what we'll do is for this side here, we're going to line our ruler up with that, and then we're just going to scoot it over however far we want the box to be and put a line. So now that is going to be the back of the box. So, and we'll do the same with the bottom. So we'll have our ruler lined up with the bottom here, and then just scoot it down. And with this one, we want it aligned with that line we just drew on this side and with the angle of this. So we're going to draw it, have it there, and draw it across, and it's going to hit this other guideline that we made. So now we can erase everything outside of that. Sort of touch up that line a little bit. There we go. That's a little better. And erase these guidelines here. There you go. There's a 3D box. Now, the reason I didn't connect this corner here all the way there is because that corner in the back you wouldn't see, because it's a solid box. Now, if it's a glass box and you can see through it, we would draw that there and you'd be able to see that corner in the back. But since it's a solid box, we can't see through this side. So that's why I didn't connect this corner down there. So now, and this box would be floating in the air, because this is the sky here with the little clouds. I'll put some clouds back there so you can tell it's the sky. We'll put little dills of grass down here. Okay, so that's the ground, that's the sky. Now, we can also do this in a different way, to where, like this one, we have the sky and the ground, but we could also do it from a bird's eye view, like we're looking down, so that this would be the street and this would be the top of the buildings, where we're looking down and it's vanishing to the ground. But for right now, we're just doing it with the sky and ground. Alright, so now we'll draw a box over here. It's going to be towards the ground. We'll make this one pretty big. We'll make it like that. So I'm just drawing this rectangle here. And this one is on the bottom side of the horizon line, so it's going to be on the ground. So now we're going to connect. So I'm just connecting these three corners, the three corners closest to the horizon or to the vanishing point. This corner down here I'm not going to, because this would be the back side, and we're not going to see that since it's a solid box, but we're just connecting these three corners. So once again, put our roller on the corner that we're connecting, and then the other side to the vanishing point. Draw very lightly to the vanishing point, like that, for these three corners. And take your time, because it's easy to have your roller slide off there, which I had happen up there. Alright. Alright, so now we drew those three corners to the vanishing point. And let's see here. I'm going to make this one a little bit longer, so it's going to be further to the vanishing point. So we'll start with this side. So we put a ruler there, slide it however thick we want it to be or however long. So I'm going to make it about right there and draw the line. And then for this top line, we're going to do the same thing. So we have it lined up with this side and then scoot it up until it matches the line that we just drew over here. And we'll draw the line across. There we go. So now everything beyond those lines we just drew to the vanishing point, we can erase those because those are just guiding us to the right angle. So we'll erase those so it doesn't get confusing. And I drew that little piece of grass in there, so I'm going to erase that because it's a solid box there. So you can see how that looks like it's going away from us to the vanishing point. And so that is how you use a vanishing point to draw your angles for boxes. Now when you do things like a circle, let's say, or something, or a different shape, it's a little more complicated, but this is the basic idea of it. So let's do another one real quick. So with this one, we had the sky and the ground. So now we're going to do another one, sort of like the one I said, where we're looking from the bird's eye view down. So this is going to be our horizon line, and our vanishing point is in the center. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do buildings, but we're going to do it from a bird's eye view, like we're looking down towards the street. So our view is going to be the top of the buildings. Okay, so now that we've drawn our vanishing point and horizon line, so I'm going to do pretty much similar to what we did before with the boxes, except for this time I'm going to draw a little bit different. So let's say, we'll say this is the road. So we're driving down the road like this, okay? So we're not going to put any boxes by here. That's going to be the road. So I'm just going to put, let's see here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just drawing like this. So these are going to be rectangles right here on both sides. I'm just drawing sort of, that way I know how far to keep it away from the road. Okay. So I'm going to sort of go quickly through this. Just drawing some rectangles here. Whoa. Scoot it in a little bit there. And we can trim off a little bit there. And we'll do the same over here. Okay. Alright, so now we have our rectangles here. So these are going to be the rooftops of the buildings. And this is the road way down there. So we're on top of skyscrapers here. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect the corners. So these are going to be a little bit different since they're at a different angle. So I'll show you those. But I'll go ahead and connect these side ones. They're going to go all the way to the vanishing point because that's the ground down there. So that's like we're on top of the building, we're like, whoa, going down there. Okay. So this one, we're not going to see these two sides because it's basically right here in front of the vanishing point. So we're just going to see the top and then this side going down. So we're just going to connect these top 2 points. Then this one here, and with this one, we're going to have some lines that sort of overlap. See down here? So we're just going to erase a little bit there, because this one's going to be covering up this one just slightly at the bottom. But they're going straight down. And with this one, I'm going to draw it until it hits this box. See, I didn't draw it all the way down because this one is overlapping these two. Goes down there, and then this side over here. Gonna go all the way to the vanishing point. There we go. So these are the rooftops. Top, top, top. So this would be the street right down here. So draw these down there. Okay. So this be top, top, top. Okay, so these are the top of the buildings. And we're going down. So this would both sides are the ground here, down here. So we're up in the sky and it's going down to the ground. So tiny little people down there walking around. Little cars driving by. And this helps you a lot, not only to do this, but let's say we wanted to add some windows on these skyscrapers. So like we did before, when instead of, we're not cutting off the box, but we're adding lines. So we align our ruler with this line here and scoot it down however thick we want the windows to be. So I'm going to draw a line there. So that is going to be a row of windows on this side of the building. So we do the same with this. We'll go to this angle on this side and scoot it over until it aligns with this line that we just drew. And draw that line there. So we'll have a row of windows on this side and this side going like that. So it really helps you just sort of keep everything at the same angles and alignment. I'm not going to draw all the way down for all of these because that would take forever. And then let's say we wanted to divide each window. So what we would do with that is, let's say I want the window to be right there, about right here. So I would take, just like we did with the corners to the vanishing point, I would go to wherever I want that window to be divided and draw it to the vanishing point. So now we have windows divided this way and this way. So now if I wanted to, I'll go ahead and finish this one building here with the windows just so you can see what I'm talking about. Alright, so we're going to divide the window there. and it goes all the way down. Now this can get confusing because there's so many different lines, but once you sort of get a hang of it, it's not too bad. And you'll find ways of keeping yourself on track. Now, the part with this is we don't want to lose this line because that's what divides us into the different sides. So if we want, we can sort of make that a little bit darker, which it's good up here because you can sort of see where it divides in that corner. But for me, I like to make it a little bit darker just so I can tell that that's the dividing side and it's not an extra window. Well, I mean, it's sort of dividing the windows on the sides, but you know what I mean. All right, so now we're going to divide the windows on this side. So I'll say about right there. So we're going to draw that to the vanishing point as well. So draw it down and we'll divide it. We want the windows to be about the same distance apart. So about right there, down to the vanishing point. Right here, I guess. These aren't exact, but just so you can get the gist of it. And these are all going to the vanishing point from the top here. See? You just pick where you want to divide it and then draw it down to the vanishing point. And eventually down here it's just going to be a big bunch of lines down there. All right. But that's where everything's disappearing, where you can't really see anything down there. It does take quite a while. So we'll divide that. All right, so we're getting close here. Okay, so we divided them this way, and that is one row of the windows. So in what we did, like here, when we slid it over and divided it, we'll do the same, except for here, what we want to do is, since we're getting further and further away from us, the lines will get closer and closer together. Unlike right here, we did basically the same amount apart, except for some of them I messed up on. But see how these are all about the same distance apart? It's going to be different going down this way because we're getting further away. So we want that same angle. We'll start with this side, same angle. So we slid it over, we marked that one. Now we're going to keep sliding, and it's going to be a little closer together than the first one. And we'll slide it, and it will be just slightly closer together every time. Now, that gets a little bit tricky. See how they're slowly getting smaller because they're getting closer and closer together. And you just keep it at that same angle, but just you're moving it less and less each time. And then eventually, when you get down to the very bottom, you basically can't even see the lines anymore. See, like that, they get so close together that it just vanishes into one black shade there. But you can see how now we can actually tell it looks like a building, because this is the top here, and we have all the windows on this side, and they get closer together both this way and this way. So vanishing point and the horizon line helps us not only to get the general outline of whatever we're drawing, but also the guidelines within it. So now I'm just going to quickly do this side of the windows, just because that way it's complete. So with that, we're doing the same thing. We're going to align our ruler with this side here, this angle, and we're going to connect every line that we just drew over here across this way. And it does take some time. So I'm trying to speed through it a little bit. But you don't want to go too fast, because with these angles, if you get them just slightly off, you can tell. So try to hurry, but still do a good job. And with this, we're just putting our pencil on that line that meets the corner here for each one, and trying to keep our ruler at that same angle, but just sliding it over. Oh, I messed it up a little bit. It starts getting confusing when you get all these lines down here. Just one line at a time. Touch up that side there. Alright. So there you go. And I'm not going to do the rest because it takes way too long. But you can sort of see how that looks like a building going down to the street there. Alright. So now you know how to use a vanishing point and a horizon line to make things look 3D. And one more thing I wanted to show you with the vanishing point and horizon line, just real quick. Oh, I messed that up. Oh. I'm gonna redraw that real quick. Ooh. So I'm going to show you how to draw a road, or how this helps you draw a road, which is pretty easy. So we're going to put our, well, actually this time we're going to put our vanishing point all the way to this right side here. So we're going to draw a road. So the road's starting near us, and it's going to where we can't even see it anymore. So similar to the box, what we're going to do is we're going to decide how wide or how narrow we want the road to be. So we're going to draw, I'm going to say the road is from right here to about here. So I'm going to align the edges of the road to the vanishing point and draw all the way there. There we go. And erase those little lines that I made. Now you have a road. So this is the sky with the little clouds. Now this is our road, and this is the land behind it. That's our vanishing point where it disappears. So once you're done drawing, you can erase your vanishing point. See how it looks like it's disappearing? And what we'll do is we'll draw the little dashed lines so you can tell more that it's a road. And we want the dashed lines right in the center. So that's about the center there. So I'm just going to line it up and then just sort of do my dashed lines. And the dashed lines will get smaller and smaller as they go away. So there you go. You have your road there, if you can see it. And then we can do our vanishing point and our horizon line help us draw all kinds of stuff. So let's say we wanted some trees beside the road. So we're going to say the top of the tree is going to be right here, of the closest tree to us. So what we're going to do, just draw a very light line to guide us to the vanishing point. So I drew that line there. So this is going to be the top of our tree. So we'll say like that. We'll just draw a little tree. And it's going to go right there. And that's going to be our tree. I don't know, something like that. And we're going to erase that because it's in the middle of our tree. But what we can do now is draw a line from wherever the bottom of this tree part is. And we'll draw a light line to our vanishing point. So we know that between this line and this line here is where the top of the tree is going to be. And then we'll do a line from the bottom of the tree to the vanishing point. So now we know that between this line and this line is where the trunk of the tree is going to be. So that shows that it's going to get smaller and smaller as we go to the vanishing point. So let's say we draw one here. We know that the bottom has to stop at the end of here. And my angles are a little off there because you want it vertical, but a little bit more like this. And then between this line and this top line here is where that other tree is going to be. We'll just say that's our little tree. And we'd do the same with all of this. So if we drew one way down here, we would draw it in between these lines. And the top of the tree would be there. And something like that. So we can tell where and how big they need to be. So it helps us with our size on lots of things. So that is the basics of how you use a horizon line and a vanishing point. I hope you learned something, and if you have any questions, please leave your questions in the comments and I'll try to answer them. All right, thank you.